All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us for our Sangoma webinar today. We're going to be covering simplifying the search for your next phone system. My name is Jessica Campas. I'm the Channel and Cloud Product Marketing Manager here at Sangoma. I've completed a few different roles in my time here. I'll be with the company for 6 years coming up, and in that time, I've worked as a solution specialist, talking directly to end users, just like you all, about their phone projects and hearing their needs. I've also worked as an account executive where I've done completed demos for our Switchvox product. I've talked networking with you guys. I've worked with our channel partners and tried to get customers just like you synced up with one of our local partners in your area. And now I've transitioned into the marketing world. So I'm really taking the knowledge of our company and trying to bring it to the masses, you guys. And I'm just so thankful for you taking some time out of your Thursday to join us. I hope that this webinar is beneficial. We'll have it recorded and we'll be sending it out to you all to view again on your own time. But thanks so much for joining us live today. And I'm excited to get started. This is a big purchase for any business owner. Your next phone system is so crucial to your business and your communication needs. So I'm happy to help you on this journey to find your new phone system. What we're going to cover today is starting the search for that perfect solution. There is a lot of vendors out there and it can be very daunting if you're just starting this search. So we're going to cover some things that you should consider when switching. So whether you have a hosted VoIP phone system right now, or if you have a legacy phone system and you're looking to get into a hosted VoIP environment or just a VoIP environment in general, we're going to cover some things you should consider when making that move. And like I said, it's a very, very crowded industry. There is a fog of other providers out there and everyone kind of claims the same thing. So it can be very hard to determine who has the right solution for me. So I'm going to help you today wade through the fog of those other hosted providers. And I'm also going to provide you with some questions to ask the vendors. Believe me, I am one of those vendors. They're going to have a set of questions for you. So we're also going to show you today how you can answer a few of those questions. And then finally, I will also be pitching our Switchvox Cloud and Sangoma solutions in general to you today, so you can see what we have to offer and see if it would be a good fit for your communication needs. Okay, so before you start the search, I think it's good to quickly recap just why a hosted phone system can be a smart decision for a small to medium-sized business, and even if you plan to grow enterprise as well. With cloud, you have OPEX or operational expenditure versus CAPEX or capital expenditure. And what this means is that you aren't having to come out of pocket to buy upfront equipment. And this gives you more money upfront to fund other aspects of your company. So that's just one benefit of cloud. Another one is scalability. The cloud can grow with you, expanding and decreasing as needed. So this is perfect if you have a season of busy and slow time, or if you just aren't quite sure how fast your company is going to take off, if this is a new endeavor for you. Rest assured that with cloud, you can grow past your expectations with ease. Another benefit of just a general hosted solution is that the cloud is less risky because there's no hardware to be maintained. Or if you live in an area that's prone to hurricanes or tornadoes or other extreme weather, you can't, quote unquote, hurt the cloud because there's no physical equipment there to get blown away or to be, consumed by a fire. This is going all over your internet. So this is one less piece of hardware that you have on site having to maintain. And like I said, the cloud is everywhere you are, and it can be managed remotely and can forward calls to your mobile phone or other offices as needed. So this is something that, not only are you going to have those mobility features, but you're going to be able to access it anywhere you have internet. That's the key here. And then finally, support for the cloud is usually maintained by the vendor, leaving your IT person or staff, or if you are a small business and you don't have an IT person or staff, you're just the one wearing multiple hats. This gives you time to focus on other projects. Updates come out automatically, and keeping the latest fingers at your fingertip, or keeping the latest features, I should say, at your fingertips is really what's key here. So these are just a few general benefits of a hosted phone system. Now we're going to help everyone out who may be starting the search, or if you just recently started, this may be a good checklist for you, something that would help you on this stage of the buying process. An informed customer will never be taken advantage of. And I'm not saying that people or vendors are out to take advantage of you at all, but it can be easy to be talked into something if you don't know common uses and what questions to ask. That is why we're all here today. I want to help educate you. I want to build your confidence and help you through your buyer's journey. Knowledge is power. I know that's cheesy. We've all heard it our whole life, but it really is key to this unique industry. I mean, let's be honest, the telephony, the VoIP industry, unless you're in IT, those words have never meant anything to you in your entire life. So this is really, you're at the brink of a new topic, a new conversation, and you should read up on it. I want to help make you confident. I want to help you be more direct with the vendors and ask questions. And I challenge you to do that with us too. We have nothing to hide here. And I've played many a games of 21 questions with customers, and I know that we'd be happy to answer yours. And one of the things when I was in my sales role is I loved it when customers had a little bit of a plan. It helps to know your wishes, your desires, what you want in a phone system. But I would encourage you to be flexible and be open to suggestions. The vendors you talk to, they are experts in the field. These are people who really know the product that they're selling to you or that they're recommending to you. So be open to those, but also know in the back of your mind what your goal is to get out of your phone system. They may just offer something to you that you haven't thought of yet or you didn't know existed. Building on knowledge, I want to quickly run over a few common terms that you may or may not know. Some of you on here may be from an IT background, so these are common terms for you, but I really want to give this language, so to speak, to those people who may not know these. I did not know these terms myself when I started my career here, with Sangoma. So this is something that even I learned because I didn't come from the IT background. I came from a sales and communication background. So this was something that I even had to come to terms with. These terms come up frequently in conversations with hosted vendors, and knowing these can help you navigate those conversations with confidence and talk shop. So the first one is hosted PBX. And really, I want to focus on just the words or the letters, so to speak, PBX. It stands for Private Branch Exchange. And all that is a private telephone network used within your company. It's a fancy techie word for company or business phone system. And you can have a hosted PBX. You can have an on-premise PBX where you have that appliance. You can have a virtual PBX. It's kind of insert deployment method here, PBX. And building on that is UC, and all that does is it stands for Unified Communications, and it refers to a phone system that unifies multiple communication methods within that business. So, of course, we're all here because it's a phone, like we all are experiencing or expecting a phone on our desk, but there's other things like video chat, SMS, messaging, you have conferencing, that's another way, mobility. These are all just a few UC or unified communication features that are at your fingertips with modern VoIP solutions. And like I just said, VoIP solutions, if anyone's ever wondered what it stands for, it's just voice over internet protocol, or voice over IP is what you'll hear people say. And this is just voice traffic going over your internet. So a VoIP phone system is voice over your internet. An analog phone system is voice coming through analog or POTS lines, like a legacy phone system. A PRI or digital phone system is voice coming over those methods. With VoIP, your internet is key. And a common term that people are going to say is ISP. That just stands for Internet Service Provider. So when vendors throw out ISP, now you know that that's what they're talking about. And like I had mentioned OpEx earlier, it stands for operational expenditure. Think of a subscription. It means you're going to be paying for a service over like a monthly recurring bill. CapEx is a capital expenditure. So that means you're spending money up front. And there are different phone systems that are both CapEx and OpEx, and different businesses may need, one or the other depending on your finances. So we'll cover a few options that you have in front of you today. And the last two terms I have, network readiness. This is just referring to you having your internet connection ready for a hosted phone system or service like SIP trunking. We recommend 100 kilobits per second per concurrent call. And if you go to sangoma.com and go to our cloud section, we actually have a network readiness test for you to help make sure your network's ready. And our last term for today is DID. And some vendors, I hate it, but they say DID. It's really the same thing. It stands for direct inward dial. And all that is your phone number. So your phone number that reaches you is your DID. And another type of DID that's very, very important is your E911 DID. And that is the phone number that's tied to an emergency service location. At Sangoma, we require at least one per location, because if someone in that building dials 911 and needs emergency services, this is the number that has your address, so the emergency services know which building to go to. So this is very important, and you need to be able to bring that up with the vendors that you speak with. So here's just a few things to consider when switching. If this isn't your first business and your first phone system, you're probably coming from something else, whether it's hosted or whether it is a legacy phone system. We're going to cover things you should consider right now. When considering a hosted phone system, your ISP is crucial. Your hosted services ride over the internet and are completely dependent on them. So like I said, make sure that you can support at least 100 kilobits per second per concurrent call in order to have optimal voice quality. If you're extra and you want to go even a step above, some of our partners even recommend having a separate or dedicated ISP for your hosted system. If you have that at your fingertips, it's something to consider. A PoE switch. This is a term that, again, if you're not in the IT industry, you're probably scratching your head wondering what it is, or you may have heard of it and you just don't want to think about it because it seems intimidating. And I got that a lot with customers. This is something a vendor will ask if you have. Hosted phone systems require IP phones. And if you don't have an IP phone, then a switch may be required. Essentially, it infuses that into your network to make it compatible with the system. So some IP phones come with power adapters. Our Sangoma phones do have that available. If you do not have a PoE switch, it's worth asking a vendor if they charge for each power adapter. In some cases, it may be more cost effective for you to just go out and buy a PoE switch. That way you don't have to have a power adapter for each phone. So it's kind of one or the other. If you don't have a PoE switch, you may need some power adapters. If you do have a PoE switch, that may be one less thing you have to factor into your purchasing of a new system. All right, is your business number part of your identity? If it is, you will need to confirm if they can port the numbers to your new provider. So make sure you do not cancel services with them until after the number has been ported. This is very important. So take an inventory of all your numbers. Funny thing, a lot of customers we talk to, they'll take inventory of their numbers and they'll realize that they have numbers they're not even using and that they can drop. So this is also a great way to clean house as well. While you're at it, check your contract. How many years did you sign? Are you at a point where you can break that contract? Sometimes you may or may not be, and that's a conversation you need to have with your new potential vendor. Another thing to consider, how many concurrent calls do you expect? It's good to know this not only for your phone system requirements, but this also plays a factor in your bandwidth requirements as well. You will recall me saying 100 kilobits per second per concurrent call. If you have 20 people and 15 of them are going to be on the phone, you're going to require more or better internet than a business that has 20 people that only has 2 people on the phone. So this is a conversation piece you're going to want to bring up. And building on that point, know all of your requirements intimately so you can be sure the vendor you select meets or exceeds all of them. Will you require assistance setting up your phone system? No problem. Reputable partners should be made available to you to make sure that your network, your infrastructure is set up and firing on all cylinders. It's worth noting most hosted phone systems are easy to set up yourself. This is something that a lot of business owners are able to do, but having a local backup plan is a smart move. All right, and before we get on to discussing moving through a conversation with a vendor, I think that's worth bringing up all of your options, on-premise versus cloud. What if you determine, or what if the vendor helps you determine, that cloud isn't the fit for you and your company at this time, but you're still wanting the UC features that will help you communicate more effectively? There are on-premise options that can help you achieve that. SIP trunking is a hosted based phone service that rides over your internet service provider. But with most on-prem UC systems, it can be used as your primary service and can save you a lot of money. When I'm talking about SIP trunking, think of your analog or PRI lines. It's the same thing as them as far as its phone service, but it's over your internet. Another neat thing with an on-prem system is that you can use a gateway to use your existing analog or PRI lines if that's what you deem necessary. They can also be used as a backup, and this has been very popular among schools or medical facilities that need redundant service providers. So hear me out. The way this works is you have the on-prem system, you have a gateway with your existing analog or PRI lines, and SIP trunking. Should SIP trunking go down for, like I said, your internet service providers, what's key here? For some reason, someone's doing construction by the street and they dig up your fiber. You have a backup, phone service that your business can still take and receive calls and use. So this is a wonderful redundancy story. Another reason customers may decide Prem is right for them is if they're locked in a contract for another year or so. I've had that happen a few times. Customer calls in, hey, I want a hosted phone system. Great. Are you at a point with your current provider that you can move away? They call and they're stuck for a year and a half, and it would cost an arm and a leg to get out. It might be worth just riding that out a little bit longer, and you can always use their phone service with an on-prem system. And I'm going to discuss migration options later because we do have an option for you to migrate. That's perfectly fine. So when you're ready to make the move to a new phone system, just know that you have options, whether it's the cloud, which arguably is the way of the future, or if you need to stay on-prem, that's perfectly fine. What we care about as a vendor is that you get a phone system that gives you the UC features you're looking for to be a future-proof and successful company. Now it's time to talk about wading through the fog of other vendors. And when I typed out this title, I truly meant a fog. I'm trying to paint the picture for you guys because this is a very heavy, dense industry. There are a lot of vendors just like us. We're all offering different flavors and versions of a phone system. So I want to help dissipate that and make this easier for you to navigate. Although hosted vendors are all claiming to offer the best hosted phone system ever, it is worth noting that all vendors are not advertising the same service. It can be a full-on apples and oranges comparison instead of apples to apples. We are not all the same. Sangoma is not like everyone else, and everyone else is not like Sangoma. It is truly apples and oranges here. For example, some vendors offer all features included. Others are going to offer an a la carte menu of features to choose from. Some require their own phones to be used with their phone system or service. Others will let you bring your own phones or use third party. So that's something else to consider. Always ask about support. Some vendors will offer 24/7 or 8x5. Others may leave that out and only have that business hour support. So if you are a 24/7 company and you need that support, factor that in to your, drilling questions that you ask. A free trial is usually going to be advertised if a vendor offers it, but some do not have a trial option at all. This could limit your chance of trying before you buy. Some customers think like, I'm not going to need to try out a phone system. I'll just make sure they check off all my list. But if you can test drive a car before you sign your life away, wouldn't we all do that? So if you see a free trial out there, I would encourage you to check that out. Although these are two completely different methods of hosting, the different vendors, you should also ask if the vendor's hosting it or if it's third party hosted. One is not necessarily better than the other. It really just comes down to how secure their data center is. So if this means something to you, hey, Mr. Vendor, do you host this in your data center, or is one of your partners going to host this for me? That both are okay. You just need to hold them accountable and make sure that their environment's safe and reliable for your business. Here are a few common pitfalls to avoid. Fees on fees on fees is really where vendors could get you. For example, although porting fees are common and to be expected, you're going to see that, some vendors will charge a lot more than others. Same thing goes for contract early termination. It's common to pay a fee to leave a contractor early than what you signed on for. We all experience that at some point or another, but some vendors have stricter rules around this than others. And this is why we encourage you to carefully read the terms of service, or here's another acronym for you, TOS, little o, with every vendor that you're considering. This will make you feel more prepared to enter that contract with the vendor, knowing your options should things change down the road. One of the most common things we see, and I hate this one, is bait and switch pricing. This is when a certain price per seat is advertised on a website, and then you find out that the features that you need will make the advertised seat price go way up. This is also referred to as like a pay per feature add-on. So they bring you in by advertising the lowest price possible. And then by the time you chalk up your order and say, hey, Mr. Vendor, this is what I want, that's why I chose to use this illustration. Their nose grows. You start seeing the true colors, and you want conferencing? That's not included at that price. Oh, you need to pull a report? We can't include that either. So all of these necessary features you want for your new phone system are not included at the price advertised, and it can get very expensive after that. Finally, continuing on the trend of fees here, pay close attention to the bottom of the quote. Other vendors may look more expensive than the other before taxes and fees are added. Then when you look at the total monthly cost, that can drastically change. What I'm saying here is compare the vendors, compare the quotes, but look at what you're going to pay after taxes and fees. You may see random fees I put on here. I've actually seen a recovery fee. What are you recovering for me? E911 service fee? Okay, E911, FCC, local, state, federal taxes, those are acceptable fees. But when you see, a recovery fee here, or an intellectual property fee, or a regulatory compliance fee, usually only one of these is mandated by the government. So it would be worth having that conversation with the vendor and asking, okay, I see that these fees are here, but what does this fee go to? What does that fee really go to? Because this is how they make some of their money back. and it's definitely worth, asking them. Speaking of asking vendors questions, here's a few questions I put together to add to your list of questions you may already have for vendors, and this is going to get you an honest answer and make sure that what you're signing up for is going to be successful for you. The first and most obvious question when you compare a hosted VoIP provider with another is whether a particular vendor is equipped to meet the needs of your business. Can they support your number of users while guaranteeing quality of service? Here's another acronym, QoS, small o. How adept is their cloud service to future growth and adaptation? Is their organization's current network robust enough to take on new bandwidth demands that you will be giving them? So what I'm talking about here is scalability. You should tell the vendor, I expect to grow here by this date, or I would like to be able to confirm that we can scale to this number. Can you guys support that? And ask them to back that up. SMBs are often operating on severely lean budgets. That's what I've always heard, and they want to try to grow as much as possible with what they have. So something to consider as you compare is whether any given vendor can utilize any equipment your business already owns. What I'm saying here is ask the vendor, hey, I have this type of phone right now. Will your phone system work with that? Can we use an adapter to maybe take advantage of this investment we've already thrown down on these phones? Or hey, I have these analog lines, I'm using this gateway, it converts it to SIP. Can I just use this with your system, or do I need to invest in another piece of equipment? So you should ask the vendors if they can use that existing equipment. Will this promotional pricing end before our contract ends? This is a big one that I hear a lot. Make sure that what you see online is what you will be reflected when you check out. Sometimes promotional pricing can get you in the door, but like I said, it may end before the contract ends, or they may say, hey, you're going to pay $20 per seat for the first year, but they don't put for the first year, they just put $20 per seat. And then after that first year, it's going to go up. We've all seen this with like TV providers, like cable or satellite providers. We've all seen that. It exists in this industry too. I hate to be a bummer, but it does. So ask them, hey, will this price be what we pay for the entirety of our contract, or will this go up in a year or two? Get them to be transparent about that. Make sure you know all the fees and the sign-ons. Ensure that monthly fees advertised, like I said, are not going to go up. Make sure that you review the fees that are at the bottom of the quote. What level of customer support can we expect? I am a firm believer that a vendor is only as good as their customer service and support. Look at reviews, just like you would if you hired anyone else to do anything at your house. Make sure their customer service team is going to stand by the hours that they advertise and that they have, good reviews and a good level of support. I said earlier, if you're a 24/7 shop, you need to make sure your phone system vendor is also a 24/7 shop. What's going to happen at 7 p.m., on a Tuesday if something happens and they close shop at 5? So you should factor that in, of course. And because hosted PBX services are cloud-based and accessible from anywhere, like I said, it possesses unique capabilities to use disaster recovery tools. So this is only as good as the service's ability to adapt and provide seamless service, even if the primary location and devices are inaccessible. So what I'm saying here is, depending on where you're located and what your business continuity plan is, make sure the vendor can support that. They have customers in your area. Hey, this is how we help people in Louisiana whenever hurricanes come in. Here's how we help people in Kansas when it's tornado season. Vendors should have local experts that can help you with your disaster recovery plan and make sure that the phone system is on board with whatever happens. As you're considering other hosted vendors, I humbly ask that you consider Switchvox Cloud and Sangoma Solutions. Sangoma's award-winning hosted phone system, I'm going to give you a quick review of that. So hopefully you can add us to your pile of what you're reviewing right now. I also have a special promotional price that I'd like to offer you to help make the change more affordable than ever. We just want to bring this to you guys at the best price possible. Firstly, in case this is your first time hearing about who Sangoma is, I just want to give you a brief overview on just what we do. Sangoma offers an end-to-end unified communication solution, from boards and gateways to SBCs to an entire PBX system and PBX solution. We have a lot in our portfolio. Today, we're focused on mainly hosted phone systems, or if needed, an on-prem phone system. But like I said, if you need to have that gateway to use with your analog or PRI lines, Sangoma has that. If you want to add a session border controller to secure your environment on top of your firewall, we have that available too. We have our own line of phones and headsets. We offer SIP trunking solutions. We have video collaboration, which, by the way, is free right now. You should definitely check out Sangoma Meet. We're using it a lot internally, and we've got our family using it as well. It's been a big hit. But I just want to show you that we're a complete solution vendor. You don't have to have a hodgepodge of different pieces of equipment. You can come to us and get everything you need. And if you need something that you don't see here, let's say that you need a new internet service provider, or you need access control, or you need security cameras, like maybe you're looking for more than just a phone system, that's where Sangoma's channel comes into play. We have local partners all over, and if you need another complimentary service on top of a phone system, I'd encourage you to let us know, because we have partners that can really add to this and really embellish it and make sure that you get everything from a single vendor. Another thing is that we are SIP standards based. So like I said earlier, if you have IP-based equipment that you want to tie into your phone system, like paging equipment or anything like that, convert it to SIP and it works with our system. That's what we always say. So know that we are friendly, and we want to have that conversation with you to figure out, okay, what do you have right now that's going to work with our phone system? And we're open to that. If for some reason you determine that on-prem is the way for your company to go, we have award-winning SIP trunking services that can save you money on your phone bill. We also have a fax over internet, or our IP, FOIP solution as well. So the way that this works is the number of lines is based on monthly pricing. It is hosted by us. It directly integrates with our UC solutions. We have this available in North America and the UK. We have our own E911 and local DIDs that you can choose from. If you got numbers and you want to hang on to them, great. You can port those over and we'll work with you on that. And we also have advanced security features to prevent toll fraud. We're really proud of our SIP trunking solution. It did recently win Eastern Management's Group #1 in customer satisfaction. I want to stress to you that this is not an award that we begged for. This is something that we were nominated for and we received because of customer satisfaction. It's something that you need to consider with vendors. Take into consideration those reviews. If you are still faxing, I'm telling you people, fax is not dead. I know a lot of people laugh saying they want to throw their fax machine out the window and it's archaic, but there are so many companies that still depend on it. And that's why Sangoma is dedicated to supporting those people with FaxStation. You can reuse your existing fax machine if you're so attached to it. That's fine. You can set up fax to email, which is awesome. You can get those notifications on your mobile phone. So just like you would any other email, you can archive everything, incoming and outgoing faxes, resend it. Just like you would forward an email, you could forward that information to someone else. We do have a FaxStation appliance. It comes pre-provisioned and pre-programmed. The reason I have that there is I want to stress that you could set this up yourself if you want. If not, we can get a partner to do that for you. And you can pick your fax number, plug in your fax machine. I mean, continue to use that infrastructure that you may or may not be attached to. If you are ready for a fully hosted system and you do not want to hang on to your current legacy infrastructure, Switchvox Cloud is what you need in a hosted phone system, and it's everywhere you need it to be. To be clear, this is the same type of business phone system that is traditionally on-premise. All the features you can think of, but it's hosted in the cloud, decreasing your hardware footprint in the office. Since Switchvox Cloud is a hosted phone system, it is accessible everywhere you have internet, making it great for remote or traveling teams. Think of people who may be in the real estate industry. Those people are out showing houses all day, but they need to show their boss if they are or are not available to take a call. I'm coming to you remote from my home thanks to quarantine, and I am able to stay in contact and see statuses and be present with my coworkers all over the US right now. We are going to grow with your company. We have the ability to adapt. You can add and drop seats as needed. So if you are a seasonal business like a tax office where you're super busy during tax season, but you're not as busy the rest of the year, or you offer some other seasonal service, with Switchvox Cloud, you can add and drop seats as needed. You don't have to worry about the seats that you signed on with us. You can go, below or above that if needed. Also, support is handled by us. We have 24/7 US-based support. The people who built our system is hosting it for us as well. So that's something that we all do. You're not going to have to worry about us passing the buck to some other hosted provider. We handle it all. We are the ones who built the original code asterisk underneath Switchvox, so we know it intimately, you guys. Now it's time to talk about that special pricing that we want to offer you. We want to get you in the door. We have all features truly included, as low as $18.99 for a 3-year unlimited contract on Switchvox Cloud. Now, that is not just all features included. And when I say all features, I mean we are never going to charge you extra for, a switchboard or call queuing or IVRs or anything like that. We have a free D60 IP phone available for each user, plus soft phone apps for your mobile and desktop. So that's 3 devices per person available on Switchvox Cloud for $18.99. This is a free phone that will sit on your desk or wherever you choose, and the app is free, and the soft phone app is free. And it can all be combined together. So if you miss a call on your desk phone, it will roll to your soft phone. If you're out at lunch, you don't have to worry about missed calls or anything like that. You can always answer for your customers. We do not have any hidden fees, seriously. When you get a quote from one of our account executives or from a partner, what you see on the quote is what you'll pay. Like I said earlier, we only charge what is absolutely necessary. Your state, your federal, your local taxes, FCC fees, that's it. We're not going to tack on anything ridiculous. It's what's mandated, by the government. We have a 30-day trial. So let's say you don't want to sign a contract just yet. That's okay. With our 30-day trial, you get those D60 IP phones. You get 5 of them. You get 5 DIDs. And it is a actual production environment. We're not giving you just some random tester half-baked environment. No, you're on the actual production Switchvox Cloud, and you get to run it in the ground. I mean, we want you to try everything. Forward to your cell phone, set up recording, set up call rules, get those reports coming to your inbox. And we have an entire onboarding team that can help you port those numbers over. We have a support team, like I said, standing by 24/7. And I want to also go back to what I said at the beginning. Knowledge is power. We have this training library, guys, that has 2-minute videos on how do I set up my voicemail? how do I set up an IVR? You know what? We're busy. I need my 3 salespeople to be in a call queue. I want it to ring all of them. We have a 3-minute video on how to set up a queue, and it's all very simple. You can do all of this in our easy to use admin portal. You do not have to have an IT background to set this up. It's so user friendly. And like I said earlier as well, this is a hosted system, meaning that automatic updates, new features, when we create them, we push them out to you guys immediately. So you don't have to worry about like a legacy phone system where you have that software patch that's sitting there and you got to figure out a time. Okay, well, the phones are going to be down. I got to apply this patch. This is something that we do automatically for you. So no maintenance coming from you whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and move forward to our Q&A section, see what we can answer for you all. Was the phone that was pictured in the photo the free phone that you get, the D60? Actually, that was our D80 phone. We have a line of phones. You can go to our website, sangoma.com, and check out our devices. The D60 is an entry-level phone. It has 2 busy lamp filled indicator lights on the side, so it's perfect for just really any area in the office that needs to have access to the phone system. We do have executive and mid-level phones available. The mid-level phone are our D65, and then of course the D80, which is our executive touchscreen phone. It looks awesome on like a receptionist desk where people come in and they see the sleek new technology. So that is something that you know, we do have available. The good thing about our phones is that you can rent or purchase them, whatever makes sense to you. If you want to purchase them outright and own the phones, you're welcome to do so. If you want to roll the phones in and rent them on a monthly basis, you can do that as well. So that is something that, you know, we'd love to encourage you to do. Another question I have, North America and UK only. So that is true, you know, for SIPSTATION with Switchvox Cloud, it's US 48 only. We do have, like I said, our on-premise option. If you have analog or PRI lines, you want to use that as well. Or if you have another SIP trunk provider that is going outside of those areas, you know, we're SIP standards based. We love anything and everything SIP over here. So you're welcome to use that with our phone system. How many minutes to call PSTN are included per user? That depends. It's really like a per channel, so it's a per concurrent call. Most acceptable use policies are around 3,000 minutes per person. Anything over that, we and most other vendors typically view that as like a call center type of solution, or like you're doing an extra amount of calls. But the cool thing about SIPSTATION is you can do concurrency bursting. So if you ever need to go over, we have that available. So you do not have to worry about your customers ever receiving a busy signal. You can turn on that concurrency bursting and you have that to where calls are always answered, and you can just pay per minute over the usage if needed. Is the call center suite included? I've seen it advertised as extra. It is. We would love to discuss all your call center needs. Like I said, every single feature is included, and that does include call center packages. And I know what you're talking about. Some vendors, they'll give you that entry-level seat price, but if you want to pay for 5 people out of your 20 to have call center features, those 5 seats cost more, but you don't have to pay extra for the rest. With us, every single extension has all the call center features available at their fingertips, whether they use it or not. So that's something that you know, you're always going to have available to you. And if you need help using it, we have demos and videos online that can help with that. The Switchvox Cloud trial, how long does it last? We have a 30-day Switchvox Cloud trial, so you get to try it out for a full month with what I said was 5 extensions, 5 D60 phones, and you get free numbers for testing. If you decide that you want Switchvox Cloud, that's great. We turn anything you built during that trial into your production environment, meaning if you set up a queue for those 5 people, you don't have to rebuild that once we start charging you and you actually commit to a service contract. So You know, that's great to have. And then the good thing is that if you try it out and you don't feel that Switchvox Cloud is a fit for you, that's what the trial's for. You can always part ways after that, no questions asked, send the phones back, and we can walk our separate ways. We just want to bring it to you to make sure it does fit your needs. You also have 24/7 support available to you during that trial as well, so it is fully supported. Another thing that might have been unclear from the webinar, the migration, I want to let everyone know, if you do start with cloud or start with Prem, with Switchvox, you can actually migrate to and from those solutions. So let's say you start off with on-prem and you love it and it works for you for a year, and then you're finally out of your contract or whatever and you want to move to cloud. With Switchvox, you can take a backup of your Prem and we can throw it in our data center and give you that hosted environment. Or vice versa. If you start off with cloud and let's say you want to go virtual because your company has invested and beefed up your VMware environment, we can take a backup of your cloud solution, give that to you, and you can deploy that in your virtual or on-prem environment. This is very unique as a vendor. I just want to stress to you that we give you the options to go back and forth and you don't have to rebuild. You can also peer locations together, peer devices. I mean, it can really branch out and become a very large network if needed. All right, I have a question about number porting and how you go about that. What I would recommend with number porting is that you always have to go to your current provider, find out if you're in a contract, let them know that you want to forward or port numbers over to another provider. Do not cancel your service before you set up number porting with your losing provider. That's a very big deal. If you cancel your services before you port them, you may not be able to get your numbers back. And this is something that our onboarding team will help you with and will work with you, letting you know what to do. But always go to your current provider, say, I want to port my numbers to Sangoma, and here's their information. Then after they're ported, you cancel the service. So always remember, don't cancel before you port. I'll just give a couple more seconds. If anyone else has any questions that roll in, please feel free to ask, and then I'll let you guys get in and out in under an hour, which is always my goal in a webinar. All right, wonderful. Hopefully you guys have gained a whole lot of knowledge during this webinar and have been able to answer a lot of these questions yourself. So this is a good thing that we don't have 1,000 questions coming in. That makes me very happy. Like I said, I hope I am leaving you with a new knowledge that'll help you feel more confident and simplify your search as you scout out your new, phone system. As I said at the beginning and throughout, building confidence through knowledge is of the subject matter is key. An educated customer will make correct decisions over and over again. And I do hope that you consider Switchvox Cloud or SIPSTATION or FactStation or Switchvox Prem, VMware environment. I do hope that you consider us as an option for your business. I'd invite you to contact our sales team for quotes or a personalized demo. Here's our contact information. Our account executives can actually give you a tour of our Switchvox system so you can see all these features in action, see what I've been talking about. You can, of course, email or give them a call and get that set up. They're standing by and they're really eager to help you guys out. They know everything. They've been trained very well. So please feel free to reach out to them. I want to thank you again for your time. From me and everyone here at Sangoma, I hope you have a wonderful day and happy hunting for your new phone system. Have a great day. See ya.